Hello. Today we are making some soup. My friend's dad had a bad injury back in October, so he's finally coming home, and we want to make some soup that we can easily freeze in individual sort of Ziploc bags so that, you know, when they need something quick and nourishing, they have it. So what we're making is a carrot, ginger, chicken soup. So where I always start with my soup, I have my pressure cooker here. You might use an Instant Pot. I feel like everybody has Instant Pots. I don't know anything about those things. But we have just a regular pressure cooker. And what I'm going to do is I like to start with my base. So because this is a chicken-based soup, I'm going to start by putting in my ground seasonings. So when I say ground seasoning, things that grow on the ground, so like thyme, garlic, onion. And I'm not cutting it up pretty. I'm just putting it in the pot because at the end of the process, everything is going to be all blended in together. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. If we were doing like a stew, then I'd be a little bit more worried. But I'm just cutting up onion, garlic. So this is from my neighbor. All of our garlic is finished now. That's how much we use. So this is from our neighbor, and then the onion is from our local farmers market. So they're quite big, and they're starting to, the cold storage room is actually starting to freeze right now. So we need to use these up. So we're gonna be doing more onion than we normally would do, but trust me, onion never hurts a soup. So the only thing that I'm concerned about here is like if you look in the middle, see that brown piece? I just need to make sure that I take that out. I don't really want to cook with that. So just gonna make sure there it is, it's gone. And like I said, I'm not worried about the size because especially with onions, they almost like disintegrate in the water, right? So I'm just cutting this up small enough because we will pressure cook all of these things together. Oh, here comes Gwen. She has a friend today.
What's the next one I can see for you?
I don't know, honey. Okay, so there we go. Onion.
What are you doing?
Making soup.
That's what you're doing?
No, this is for Nikki's dad.
Oh, is she coming over?
No. Oops. Okay, next up is the garlic. So you use lots of garlic, especially when you're coming home from the hospital. You need the garlic and the onion are so good for you. Natural antibiotics, and it just helps to helps your body to fight anything off, right? When you've been in the hospital for a long time, usually yeah, that's right. When there could be viruses and your immune system can be compromised, right? So again, with the garlic, I'm just going to cut the end off and then squish it down like I always do because I'm just going to be blending all this out. So this piece here, I'm not going to use it. Doesn't look good. I'll show you. Hold on. This one. I want to put that in soup, right?
No.
And this one has a little bit of a sprout on the end, so I'm just going to cut the sprout off too. There we go. So I did 4 pegs of garlic in this. I think that should be, woo! This garlic is really strong. Stronger than the onions.
Okay.
Are you going to cry?
No.
Oh. I thought your eyes were watering from the garlic. Okay. Right. So, I'll move this thing. Right. So there's the ground seasoning. Well, not yet. Sorry. Thyme. So this is my dried thyme. And what I found is most of it has fallen off of the sticks and it's down the side. So I can't just put the sticks in because the sticks do have tons of flavor. And again, I am going to be blending it all out, but I find the thyme usually gets wrapped around my blender pretty badly. So there we go. We got our thyme in there. And then we've got some dehydrated green onions for more flavor. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in now as well, because I'm not going to be using like a soup mix or anything like that. And the ingredients for this, it's not going to be salty really at all. And then to add to the color, I'm putting turmeric in, because I really want this to be like a bright orange color, which is why we're using the sweet potatoes and the carrots. So I'll just add the turmeric as well. It just helps add the color right to the broth, which makes it for a good base. Okay, and then next is the chicken. So we just finished actually, by we, I mean my husband just finished cutting up 3 chickens. So he did some chicken tenders. And for this, I'm just going to be using the chicken tenders. It'd be nice if this had a bit of bone in it, but it doesn't. So I'm just going to wash the chicken first before I put it in the pot. I feel like you probably seen me do this when I was cleaning chicken feet the other day. So just as a reminder, always wash your meat, whether it's chicken, beef, pork, whatever. If you're cleaning seafood, use lime instead of vinegar, but always clean it. Always, always clean it, even if you're raising it yourself. They're still gross animals. So I'm just taking the chicken, I'm just plopping it in here. Because we're making a big pot, this will make it nice. This will add a really, really nice flavor to it. Okay, there we go. I'm going to wash my hands and then show you how it looks. Okay, so this is how the pot looks right now. You can just see everything is just very, I don't think this is a word, but messily chopped up in there. And I'm just going to put this on high heat because basically what I want to happen is I want this to start boiling up. And then while that's boiling, I'm going to be peeling and cutting up the sweet potatoes and the carrots to go in. And I will show you that soon. Okay, while that's boiling, let's get the rest of the stuff ready. So we are using carrots from our own garden for this. So they don't look like the traditional size carrots, they're pretty small. So what I've done is I've washed them 3 times, so I'm not peeling the skin off. There's lots of nutrients in the skin. You want to make sure first that there's no dirt at all on them, which is why I've washed them so many times. So all I really need to do with these is cut the end and the top. And then if it's, you know, these are all pretty small, but I'm just going to cut them a little bit smaller. I just have a bowl here that I'm putting the ingredients in, so that, I'm sure you can hear the children talking about they're playing house right now. Just cut the ends off, that's it, throw them in the bowl, and then we're going to put it in the soup. So I don't think my friend watches my channel, so I'll tell you guys a secret. So, this is from the and this is merging. This is merging. This is merging. Oh, you guys, you know, some tail. So, that's my scared to go by. It's the color. And so, the character, so we need to this also and so we'll do a little bit of ginger, which is the flavor. So, yeah. No, I actually don't know if we're going to everything. Okay, so like you're doing like you're we get everything. Next, we just cut up the kale. Again, I'm not going to do it. It doesn't need to be any sort of fancy way. Just cut it up so that it can go in the pot. I don't want to do too much because kale is bitter. So I'm probably going to do so that's 2 handfuls. 3 handfuls. So next will be the sweet potatoes. I'm going to do 2 big sweet potatoes, and then depending on the texture of the soup after I pressure cook it, I may need to add in some regular potatoes as well to make sure that we have the right thickness. And these potatoes are from our local farmers market, so they do look a little bit rough because they've been in cold storage since October, I would say, early October. And I don't have a peeler. For sweet potatoes and pumpkin, I really need to invest in one, but I typically just use a knife to peel potatoes. That's kind of what I prefer, but I am realizing a peeler would be really nice here. But I do have to cut a little bit extra skin off of these, just because the skin on these is getting a little bit rough. I'm going to take my off. I'm going to put some small cubes. Here. And I pressure cook everything on it. You know, doesn't matter what it is. All right, so this is an update on the soup. So you can see that we're boiling away here, and you can see that beautiful color. So I've added a bit too much water, so I can't add in my ingredients yet. So I'm just going to let this boil a bit longer. If you run into this problem, just let it boil a bit longer. It was brought to my attention by someone I work with that not everyone knows that you can make your own broth. So usually, like this recipe, when I got it, said, you know, like use 2 cups of chicken broth. I don't even think I did it the first time. But adding the chicken to your water essentially does the same thing as adding chicken broth, except for this is way healthier and has way less sodium in it. It would be better if this chicken had the bone in, so I am prepared for that. I'll have to add in some extra ingredients to get that additional flavor, but you just make your own broth just like this. That's all you need to do. You can do the same thing like vegetarian broth, just put a bunch of veggies in the water, boil it. So easy. So I'm just gonna let this roll like this for a while and then come back. I've got all my ingredients ready to go, and then I'll add in my ingredients once this goes down a little bit more. Okay, so we have enough space in the pot now. I'm going to add in all the ingredients. And one thing I forgot to show is that I'm also adding in ginger. Just as much ginger.
Why do you have to add in the gingerbread man?
Woo! Okay, here we go. You can see exactly why I waited. And I'm just going to let this boil down a little bit more, and then I'll put the pressure cooker lid on.
Do we have any more olive oil?
I don't think so.
I needed a half cup.
How much do you... Okay, so I'm not going to lie to you. The soup made a huge mess because I put way too much water in, and it kept boiling over, so you can see, like, on the side here, very messy. So I have a mess to clean up. But I pressure cooked it for about 45 minutes, and this is how it looks right now. I know it looks horrible, right? You're thinking, wow, how could this possibly taste good? But next up is I start by using a potato masher just to mash out the larger pieces, and then I'm going to use my immersion blender, and it will turn this into a beautiful soup. Trust me. Trust the process. All right. So that's most of the big chunks because the sweet potatoes that I put in, they were humongous chunks. Okay. All right, next up, immersion blender. So you'll notice the thyme is all wrapped around the bottom of my immersion blender. That's what always happens. Okay, so can see it's looking way more beautiful now, and the texture as well is really thick. So I'm definitely not going to need to add any extra potatoes to this. So the last two ingredients that I'm going to add, which will give it the exact color that I want, is coconut milk. I'm going to do a tin of coconut milk and a bit more turmeric just to make the color pop just a little bit more. I don't quite, this color is not what I imagined. And the turmeric is super healthy, anti-inflammatory, so it will help him in his healing process. And for the record, I did tell my friend to put kale in it, and her dad loves kale, so it's all good. No longer a secret.
In Canada or anywhere else.
I'm done with recording yet.
What is it? H-E.
Oh, it is recording. You're right. There you go. And so, hello, it's Davey and Jen
William!
from Big Hearts.
Small farm.
Yes. So I almost forgot to show you guys this last step. The soup is bagging it up. So I have these, the Ziploc fold and fill. I mean, they don't really stand up that well, but you get them folded like this. And what I'm doing is I use a measuring cup, and I'm just scooping the measuring cup and pouring into the bag. So I'm doing it's about 4 cups I'm doing in here total, maybe a little bit less. And then I'm just sealing it up. I'm gonna lay it down flat in the freezer, and then my friend is gonna come pick it up for her dad.
Oh.
And I try to.
Who's that friend, Mom?
Nikki.
Oh.
Try to get as much air out as I can. That's it. And then I'll just lay it down flat like that in the freezer, so it stays nice and neat. And so far I've got 2, 4, 6 bags.
Oh, how much is it? Oh, make 2 each one.
Good? Yeah, like it?
Each one?
A little bit sweet, a little bit bitter.
Isn't that even more water, Mom? Mm-hmm. I don't want cherry juice. Yeah, I'm gonna have a little more water, okay? Hold on, I know what could be a good video. How can I hold me this? What are you doing now?
No, it's good.
Next month. Next month.
See what I mean by you only stand up that great? Getting to the bottom of the pot here. Makes me a little nervous.
What's that?
This is soup for Nikki, too.
I'm not drinking that before because I'm not.
No?
It's not my fault. It's my fault you're doing the video. I'll give you up all night. Well, am I able to? I'm gonna go to a drink stand. You know, then I'm gonna sell. Then I'm gonna sell, Mom.
That's a good idea. There you go. Beautiful.
People get tired of walking and they see the stand, then go up to it.